All right, welcome to week 3 of the Visual Arts e-learning. Hopefully everybody's doing well and starting to get a little bit more accustomed with how things are going to go throughout this 12 weeks together, at least for the start of the year. So what I want to do today is just kind of walk you through what this week could potentially look like, what it will look like, and we will go from there. All right, so Monday, this is going to be an introduction to your first project, and your first project is going to be based on graffiti artwork, which is pretty exciting. It's pretty cool. I know that a lot of people really end up liking this project because it's something that we've all seen before, and it's a pretty creative and expressionate type of artwork. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a little intro, and the intro is actually going to be a part of this video. This is kind of your weekly welcome to art class. You're going to research, you're going to collect some of your references, and then in your sketchbook, which hopefully all of you have at this point, you're actually going to do a rough draft. So this rough draft is basically going to be you practicing how to actually create letters out of graffiti style fonts. Okay, so we'll go over that here in a little bit. On Tuesday, it's Tutorial Tuesday, so you're gonna get some resources from our YouTube channel, which are gonna help you structuring those letters in graffiti, and then a couple other examples that we've seen in the real world. Your rough drafts should be a single word, so when you look at your graffiti artwork, and we'll talk about this at the end too, I would like it to be either your first name, your middle name, or your nickname. If you would like to do something along the lines of like an inspirational word, feel free to do that. That's totally fine. If you're unsure if the word will actually work for the project, always double check with myself, and we can kind of work our way through that. On Wednesday work day, so you're going to have time to work. I will probably post a video. I think the drop shadow and the drip effect is going to be in Tutorial Tuesday that you can watch. So if you need to go back on Wednesday and watch how to do that, that would be a good time to do that. Thursday, we're going to review. We're going to watch the uploading video if needed. You're going to upload your rough drafts for this project. And then on Friday, there will be a demonstration, which there should be a link in here by then. That's going to have you watch the tutorial and then begin your final draft. All right, so that's what this next upcoming week is going to look like in a nutshell. And let's take a look at more specifically what we're going to be doing for this week. Okay, so let's go to our intro. Okay, it looks like, let me see if I can find it first. All right, so it's in the tutorial section. So graffiti introduction. Okay, and I'm going to make this a bigger screen for you. All right, so anybody that has ever seen graffiti, graffiti is a very neat, it's a very cool, very expressionate type of artwork. A lot of times we see graffiti in urban areas such as like downtown Canton, downtown Akron, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Columbus. Those are just the ones close by. Pittsburgh, obviously. So graffiti oftentimes is given a reputation of, it's actually given a pretty bad reputation. And the reason why it's given a bad reputation is because graffiti is oftentimes done illegally. Now, obviously, for this class, we are not going to be focusing on the illegal type of graffiti, but we will talk about it and recognize that there are very big differences. So graffiti oftentimes is done with a spray can. It's usually done outdoors. It's usually done on a big wall, a big surface. And another type of artwork that is typically done on a wall, outside or inside, is considered to be a mural. So graffiti is actually just a type of a mural. Murals have been done for hundreds of years. And so graffiti is just kind of this contemporary art that is done all throughout the world. Okay, so if we scroll down a little bit, this is what I want to talk about first, because I want to kind of clear up this bad rap that graffiti can have. And it's understandable that it has a bad rap, but just kind of make this clear. So graffiti in most countries, um, mark making or painting without the property owner's permission is considered defacing and vandalism, which is a punishable crime. Okay, so that's a pretty big deal. So you may have heard the term tagging. All right, so graffiti, if you perform graffiti artwork on the side of a building. All right, so if you look at this picture right here, here's a guy. He might actually work for a separate company. He might not be the owner, but the owner is having him come and clean this off. And the reason why he's having him clean this off is because he doesn't want this artwork here. All right, now that's not very cool. So whoever the artist was that did this is an illegal graffiti artist. All right, and that would be an example of illegal. All right, now here are two different pictures, and this is demonstrating tagging, which is illegal, and then graffiti, which could potentially be legal. All right, and the biggest difference, it's kind of like when you're a little kid. Okay, pretend that you're playing a game of tag. Okay, what do? You're running around, right? You're trying to avoid people, right? So tagging with graffiti is very similar. So what they do is they run up and they put their mark on this wall. Okay, a couple reasons why. They're either jealous of the people that have already put a mark here, or they want attention. Okay, for the good or the bad. They want attention. Now over here, the reason why you can tell that this is legal is because they took a very long time. All right. If you think about somebody, a bad person, doing a criminal act, they're going to want to do it very quickly, right? Because they don't want to get caught. That's why a lot of times when you look at graffiti, if it looks like it was rushed, if it looks like it was done just in a matter of minutes, then oftentimes that's going to be considered illegal. Now, some illegal graffiti artists are very talented. Okay, that does not mean that they're not talented just because they do it illegally. So oftentimes that you'll see some graffiti artists that are very talented and they can create an amazing piece in a matter of minutes. And they do so illegally, which is that's kind of a discrepancy thing. But for our sake, we are focusing on obviously the legal side of this. So the thing that makes this legal, and we talked about it in this slide up here, you have to have the owner's permission. All right, so let me just give you an example. Let's say that outside the purple gym, our class wants to do a graffiti mural on the brick wall right outside the purple gym. I'm actually looking at it now. All right, how would we make that legal? Right? Who do we go to? Do we go to Mr. Petter? No. Do we go to Mr. Carter? It's a good start, but no. And the reason why is because Mr. Carter does not own the building, right? So me and Mr. Carter both wish that we own the building. We don't own the building, all right? So who do we go to? Like, who owns this building? Is it Mr. DiLoretto? Actually, no. Mr. DiLoretto is in charge of all the buildings, but he does not own the building. So who owns the building? The township, right? So our tax dollars pay for the school. And so who would we go to? We would have to go to the school board and try to get it approved amongst the people that sit on that board, right? So there's a group of people that make decisions for the school district. They're responsible, they're representative of the people that pay their taxes and all that. So we'd have to go all the way to the school board to get that permission. Once that is granted, then we could begin working on that brick wall. So there is a step to make it legal. Now, a lot of times, big cities, what they'll do is they decide that, you know what, we don't want people creating illegal graffiti all over the city. So what they do is they open up certain areas of the city for graffiti artwork. And what that does is it allows people to get it out of their system and they can create this awesome artwork, right? And you can see that some people were jealous of this awesome mural slash graffiti artwork in the background. And what they did was they tagged right over top of it because they didn't like the fact that somebody else was able to do that. Here's a really cool example of how graffiti can kind of spread a social message. Okay, this is like a little pun, little play on words. Stop Wars with Yoda, which is very nicely done if you look closely. It's really cool. Here's another example. So here's an example of somebody that probably had a graffiti artist commission this artwork, which is really cool if you think about it. So what they did was they hired an artist and they sat down with that artist and they decided that we want a graffiti mural on the side of our building. Okay, really cool. Now, why would they do this? The reason why they would do this is because if you think about how many people walk past this building every day, okay, let's say it's 1,000. And then how many people do you think would stop and say, oh, wow, check that out. That's pretty sweet, right? So out of the 1,000 people, you might get 100 people that stop. You might get 20 of those 100 that go, I'm going to check this place out. Must be a pretty cool business. So they walk inside. Out of those 20 people, how many do you think purchase something? Maybe 5 people. Okay, let's say 5 people spend $10 a piece, right? 5 people spend $10 a piece. You have $50 a day. How many days do you think they're open in a year? You know, they may be closed on Sundays, whatever. Let's just say they're open 340 days. So that's $17,000, right? So that's the economic impact that artwork can have in a city, right? Which is really cool. So artwork can bring a lot of good to businesses. It can bring a lot of good to cities. It can change your emotions, right? This one's very exciting and personally, it's kind of uplifting. So that's why somebody would actually commission somebody. So let's say that it did cost $7,000, right? If you're a graffiti artist, it might only cost that business $5,000, $2,000, somewhere in that range to get this mural put up on the side of their building. Okay, so it's a good return on investment. This was one that was probably done through a grant. So there are some companies that provide grants throughout the cities, and grants are basically people that collect money and then they give it out for the better good of the city. So this artist probably, it was probably some sort of collaboration, which means multiple artists working together. And it just brings hope, it brings inspiration. Obviously, there's some key words that are uplifting, which is really cool. This is actually one little example of a project that I was able to be a part of at the University of Akron. It was at a coffee shop. This coffee shop is probably about 60 feet long by 20 feet high. Ended up turning out really cool. It was a collaboration with me, a local tattoo artist, another local mural artist, a couple art students, and it was a really cool example. So the same thing, this guy owns this coffee shop, and obviously this mural has really attracted a lot of people. People walk in the door, they get coffee, they check out the mural. Really, everybody wins. Okay, so I got the bell here, so I'm going to get rolling. But our project, we are going to be creating a single word with graffiti. Hopefully, it's either your first name, middle name, or nickname. If you would like to do something inspirational, like if you want to write the word ambition or hope or value, you can do that. So now it's up to you. It's your time to pick what word you want to do. And then we're going to move on to picking those fonts that are in the sample folder. All right. So hopefully this video gave you a good idea of what we are kind of looking at. And the next video you watch should be a demonstration on how to actually draw these letters. All right, but in the meantime, you're going to pick out the fonts you like, and then you're going to work on your rough draft to get things rolling. All right, so hopefully this video helped, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.